Hey. What's happening out there? Peace in. Hope everybody's doing well for this holiday season. And welcome to another episode of On the Cutting Room Floor. I'm your host, Tony Ray Harvey. So let's get down. Sacramento Kings. They win tonight. 111-109. They beat the New Orleans Pelicans in New Orleans at the Smoothie King Center. And they stopped a 6-game losing streak against the New Orleans Pelicans. But it was done in a major way. Let's put it like that. It was done in a major way. So they climbed back to 500 with the win. They are 13-13 on the season. Domantas Sabonis had 32 points, 20 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. In the victory, like I said, the Kings snapped a 6-game losing streak to climb back to 500. DeMar DeRozan, he has 29 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals in 34 minutes for the Kings, who have won 4 of their last 5 games. They also had 12 steals in this game against 11 turnovers. They had 58 rebounds. 18 of them was offensive boards. Looked really well tonight. Really well. There was, a couple tense-minute moments up in there, during the game, especially in the second half. In this fourth quarter when things started getting a little tight. But they pulled it out. They got the victory. They'll be back home. They'll be back home, but they won't play again until next Monday, December the 16th, against the Denver Nuggets at G1C, Golden One Center. So, the Kings have won the last 4 of the last 5, but I do want to preface this. Malik Monk, since he's been a starter since December 1st, his first game against the San Antonio Spurs, the team is 4-2. 4-2. But, however, yet, notwithstanding, a win is a win. Yes, it is. But the bench only came up with 9 points. So thank those starters, for pulling this out, especially the rest of the starters, because Malik did have 18 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists. Back up. Malik Monk had 5 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists. DeAaron Fox had 18 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and 1 steal. It looks like, yes, and 1 steal in the contest. Okay. But Domantas Sabonis. We'll get to the recapping of the game. 32 points, 20 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 steals. He was 11 for 15 shooting from the floor. He was 9 for 9 shooting from the free throw line, and all of those were made in the first half. I brought this up at the last home game about his efficiency of getting this team off to a good start. And yes, he did it again tonight in that first quarter. In that first quarter, Sabonis has 12 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist in that first quarter. He's been doing this frequently. Okay, I think there was one game, he may have had a little struggle there, but he's the man who gets this team started. He gets the engine started. This particular game, he carried it all the way through 48 minutes. He did. 20 rebounds? Come on. This man is out there battling. New Orleans was short, okay? Brandon Ingram is out. Zion Williamson is out, okay? Jose Alvarado is out. You're supposed to beat this team, okay? And this team is still athletic without these cats, because I'm going to tell you, C.J. McCollum, he scored 19 points in the fourth quarter, okay? He brought them all the way back to cut the lead to 3 points at about 2 minutes left in the game. They still got ballers. They still got Herb Jones. They still got Troy Murphy III. They still got ballers. They got even people, I'm just learning tonight, who they are. They could still ball, but they still a 5-21 team. That's their record, 5-21. And they're 4-9 at the Smoothie King Center. They're having some issues. I just hope Willie Green is okay. I know these injuries are a lot of it, They made it to, they beat the Kings in the play-in to get in the playoffs, which, they got bounced, but this team has a whole bunch of holes in their franchise right now. Zion Williamson, he can't stay on the floor. Brandon Ingram, he can't stay on the floor. What are you guys going to do? I know that Brandon Ingram been talked about in trades, but hey, it is what it is. But getting back to the Kings and this win that they got tonight, they back at 500. As I said, they are now 7-6 on the road. So they're on their way back home where they are, 6-7, I believe, at home. So this is their 26th game. I was trying to, measure this out in the last 5 games, but since we are here at the 6th game, let's see. When they hit the 20 mark, they were, of course, they were 2 games under 500, but they were 3-2 in that stretch. And they kind of been winning since then. So we now start a new 5 game. This is the first game of another 5 game increment. So let's see how they do with that. They do have 5 games coming up at home at G1C, starting with Denver. And then they got LA for a couple games, back-to-back games, but this will be played out over 3 days. And then, hey, if they can get all 5 of these, you're sitting pretty. You're moving up. You're moving up the Western Conference charts, which should be pretty much the case here tonight. But excellent win. Still having issues with that bench. Of course, I'm going to talk about that bench. Monty, you got to do something, man. I don't know much how long it's going to take because you did have, head coach Mike Brown. He did bring some people off the bench. He won this game, and he actually won this game without playing anybody over 40 minutes. Actually, anybody over 37 minutes. DeAaron was the only one that played 37 minutes out of that starting 5. DeMar, 34 minutes. Keegan, 34 minutes. Domantas, 34 minutes. Malik, 34 minutes. Once again, DeAaron, 37 minutes. Kevin Huerter came off the bench, 27 minutes. Keon Ellis, 19 minutes. But Kevin Huerter was 2 for 10, shooting from the field, 1 for 8 in three-point territory. He finished with 7 points. Keon Ellis, 19 minutes, 0 for 3 from the field, 0 for 3 from three-point territory. He made both his free throws. He did have 3 rebounds and 1 assist for the little time that he was for the time that he was on the floor. But you got 9 points. 9 points from the bench, and the starters won this. Okay, and as we know, we've been talking about this. That starting 5 have been holding their own. And I'm talking about the 5 Musketeers. In DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas, Malik, and DeAaron. Those 5 Musketeers, those swashbucklers been handling their business. Okay, you don't want to mess with them, when they do have a solid bench. They've been holding it together. They needed this win because there's a lot of things riding on this. I mean, you just cannot go 7 straight losses down to the New Orleans Pelicans, especially when their roster's kind of depleted. A couple of their major stars are out and a top reserve. You win that game. They were up about 14 points in this game, though, folks. I do want to bring that up. But, hey, nice win. Come back home. You got a few more days off because you've been off since, Sunday. So you had a nice little ride. So you're going to get a few more days off. Then you have to kick it, start it back up with Denver because, yes, Los Angeles, they are struggling, but the Kings are playing at home. They are playing at G1C, Golden One Center, and that right there is a concern. It's always going to be a concern until y'all start playing better in front of your home team crowd. But I do like what I'm seeing, all right? Another game will put you back over 500 where you need to be. Because now is the time to start winning some games. The Western Conference is just way too tight to be messing around, screwing around, and losing games. And yes, I know there's been trade talks for the past few days, as there probably should be, okay? Some people take it a little bit more seriously, some people don't. I just listen to the talk. I don't put any bearings on it, no stock in it. Until something happens, that's fact. Because I'm not going off no rumors and, all this, I'm breaking news, there's somebody else breaking news. just to be noticed. Something got to be done with this team, okay? And most of these trade talks that I've been hearing, the Kings' name have been in the mix, but so has other teams who's looking to upgrade their roster. They're looking to improve their roster. Looking to enhance their roster so they can make a move for the playoffs. One of them is the Golden State Warriors. I know Cam Johnson's been talked about, okay? But people got to understand, these general managers are talking every day. Some of this stuff gets out, a lot of it doesn't. That's just the way it goes, okay? But you can't just, start jumping every time you hear something about a discussion going on about a trade. They're talking every day, all day, to be exact. But until something solid comes and the Kings are in the mix, this is where it stands. They still have the same squad that they had. So deal with that. But the Kings definitely have to make a move. There's no doubt about that. This bench, hey, I know you want to make the right moves, and Monty and West will make the right moves. They will do what's necessary to stabilize this roster. I do know that, but the way it is right now, and I already got to feel it too. I mean, they beat the Utah Jazz the other night. They got up on them about 46 points. They won, by 44. I understand that. But the Utah Jazz defense is no disrespect to Will Hardy and his coaching staff, but they're just not there. So, yes, the Kings would have a great shooting night as they did against the Utah Jazz the other night. That's cool. That's cool. New Orleans was a little bit more, they have more, defenders because they are a defensive team as well, especially when they get their other players back. They are a defensive team, so this is what you're going to get, okay? You got 60 points, the other night, from the Kings bench. Then you come back and you get 9 points on a road game. That's how it's going to be. You're not going to get much out of that. Because those people that was coming off the bench, in New Orleans, trying to get there. Those people that was coming out, what was that? Missy started. They got some guy named Crane. Okay. These cats can play. Jamal Crane, Daniel Tice, Antonio Reeves, okay, Trey Jemison. Those some pretty athletic players that they had, okay, that Kevin Huerter and Keon Ellis had to go against. Coming off the bench. Brandon Boston, all right. Okay, they were holding their own. Of course, this is not no Utah Jazz. They're basically in the same rut. I think they're probably tied as far as when Utah and New Orleans, but still, okay. New Orleans definitely have a better defensive team. Utah does not. So if you're going to run up the score on somebody like that who's not playing defense pretty well at this point, Utah Jazz, you do that. But how long, much more is this going to continue when you get this type of bench production? Got to do something. Because we definitely don't want to see these starters going back up there playing around that 40-minute mark, being out on the floor like this. This is definitely manageable. Okay, other than DeAaron had to play 37 minutes. Cool. He had to, he had a big, he had a pretty decent performance as far as production himself, with the 18.7 rebounds and 8 assists, 1 steal, 7-20 shooting from the floor, 1 for 6 behind the arc, made 3 or 4 of his free throws. Cool, 37 minutes. Malik didn't have a good shooting night tonight because they got some big guards. Okay, CJ is about 6'3", 6'4". I think he's probably just right around a solid 6'4", as well as with that Herb Jones that they had. They got some pretty big guards. DeJounte Murray, excuse me. DeJounte, he's about 6'3", 6'4". So it's about even. It was about even between guard play. But C.J. McCollum had 36 points tonight. 14 or 24 shooting from the field, 6 of 11 3-point territory, 2 for 2 at the free throw line, 3 rebounds and 3 assists. And he did that in about 37 minutes. Behind that, you had DeJounte Murray, 20 points, 8 of 19 shooting from the floor, 2 for 7 behind the arc, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. That is DeJounte Murray. That is a DeJounte Murray type of game. That is. Trey Murphy. Ooh-wee. 21 points, 4 rebounds, 1 steal. Okay, 6 for 13 shooting behind the shooting from the floor, 3 of 9 beyond the arc. Beyond the arc. Okay. Also do mention, Keegan Murray did have 18 points for the Kings. He had 18 points, 3 rebounds. 18 points, 9 rebounds. And he was 7 for 14 shooting from the floor, 3 of 7 and 3-point territory. Made his one and only free throw. But he had some good defensive plays at the end of the game. Matter of fact, he made a key basket there that gave him a 5-point lead late in the fourth quarter. And they went on to win, by 2 points. So Keegan is solid. 34 minutes tonight and stuff. But it's just good when you're winning. And it is good the way you're winning and how you're winning right now, but you still have a problem, and that's that bench. That's just flat out that bench. That stuff got to be taken care of because the 5 Musketeers, they going to hold it down. But, sometimes they got to get up off that line. Get out the trenches. Get some water. Get a little rest. Let somebody else start firing off, And that's the bench. That's the bench. Mike been doing his best as far as, working these combinations to keep those starters, at some point on the floor with this second and third unit. That has to be done. You're going to have, for the most part, you have to at least keep 3 starters out there on the floor. Okay? He had talked about this at the beginning of the season in training camp of how he could work that out. And right now he's working it out. He has to work it out, especially when you got, he has to be aware of these heavy minutes that the starters are playing and not getting that much, from the bench. They're not generating a lot of offense. Okay. Now, another one of these things, as far as talking about, generating offense, I think Mike and his coaching staff has noticed this as well. I have talked about this in one of these digital commentaries about opposing players. Once they hit 1 or 2 baskets, they hit 3 or 4 more. So they're on a one-man scoring run. Or like what Kyle Draper would put, their own personal run. That was happening a lot. And I will go all the way back to the Portland game when Delano Banton came off the bench in the middle of the first quarter. Next thing you know, boom, he had 9 points. Going into the third quarter, he was up to 13 points. They get these players that, get a little streaky on the Kings. Okay. And this continued too, because Anthony Simon from Portland Trailblazer, he did the same thing. They won that game too. But he did it in the fourth quarter, got on his own little personal run, where they just making consecutive baskets by themselves. All right. We saw it again. Okay. With Keldon Johnson for San Antonio. When they played here, he got on a little streak. Okay. Devin Vassell, he got on a little streak. So what I noticed though, when Oklahoma City played here, and it was quite evident when I was seeing Jalen Williams do that for Oklahoma City Thunders. Okay. The game was pretty much over. They were winning anyway, but I forget what they was up by. Okay. But this young man, he made like 3 straight threes, and then he ended it on a dunk. So that's 11 points. He generated that offense by himself. And he talked about it after the game, about when you get hot like that, keep that process going. Keep generating those points like that. Because your team, and anybody's team, they know, when one of your teammates got the hot hand like that, you have to find them. and evidently they deliver. But I think with the Kings and Mike Brown and his coaching staff, where they came to trying to slowing this down, they must have noticed this. Slowing down them streaky players when they get off there and started going on those one-man scoring run, those personal runs. Started probably with Jalen Green for Houston Rockets. Because at the beginning of that game, at Golden One Center, of course the Kings won that game, okay? He started doing this same thing right off the bat. Mike calls a timeout, hey, we need to deal with this, you know? Otherwise he's gonna keep doing this. And they suppressed him for trying to go on those streaks. He had a good game though, still. I scored 20, 25 points or something like that, maybe a little bit more than that. But the thing is, they're noticing these type of situations and they're defending it a little bit better. Now, I'm talking about Mike Brown and his coaching staff, so have to give the credit to that because I've been watching that. I've been, at some point, you know, trying to get that into a question, you know, either at one of the practice or after the game. That hasn't happened, but I did want to point that out. Okay, stop letting these cats get on these little streakies. Maybe I shouldn't call it like that, you know. But stop letting them get on streaks like that, these little one-man personal runs, and it should be a different outcome of the game. Because once they get hot, they keep doing it. They keep doing it. Now, Wembanyama was doing that along with Devin Vassell and KJ Keldon, the other shooting guard, when they were getting on the streak. But I can understand Wembanyama. But these other cats, no. I guess hopefully you understand where I'm coming from. Okay, yes, the Kings win 111-109 tonight. They beat the New Orleans Pelicans. They're on their way back to Sacramento from the Big Easy to Crescent City, New Orleans, okay, and they will be playing the Denver Nuggets here Monday, December 16th, which is start a 5-game homestand. And part of that homestand will be the Los Angeles Lakers on December 19th and December 21st. So we're looking forward to that as we climb deeper into the holiday season, as we get closer to the Christmas holiday. All right. So I'm looking forward to getting back out to these practice. I missed a couple practices today because I had state capitol business, and that comes first. You know, at night, Sacramento Kings business as usual, but during the day, bread and butter is the California State Capitol. So I'll be dealing with politicians and bills, legislative activity and stuff. So that's basically why I couldn't make it to the practices earlier this week before they departed for New Orleans. But I will be back on the first one, and which could be tomorrow. If not, it could be Saturday. But I'll be there. And I do want to thank you for stopping in again. Please hit that subscribe button. If you haven't done so, please hit that like button. I don't care if it's 20, 30, 40, 50, 80 people who tune in to view these digital commentaries. I thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to keep this stuff going, and hopefully somewhere down this 5-game homestand that I will be able to put out another one before they hit the road again. In the meantime, peace, love, and solidarity. I'm out of here.